John Phillips. John Phillips is the attorney for the Jordan Davis family. How many of us know about the Jordan Davis case? Are you all ready to fight that? Yes. We said it was Trayvon number two, Trayvon Martin number two. So we can't let the situation play out the same way, right? We got to be outside of that courthouse. We have to monitor justice. We got to direct justice down. So I want to bring up, he's up here, Mr. John Phillips.
My brothers and sisters, my name is John Phillips. I represent the Jordan Davis family. You get into a moment like this. Does everybody here realize that they're in a moment that's bigger than them? Everybody realizes that? Barack Obama, that was your mandate. Stand your ground, that can be your next mandate. Stand Your Ground was created by a 70 or 80-year-old woman named Marion Hammer. Marion Hammer was a big NRA supporter. So big, she said, we can't donate enough money through the NRA. We've got to found the National Sportsman's Other Lobby, Florida Sportsmen, so they could double up. Then they got a couple of their congressional cronies, created a law that changed a situation from where you judge a criminal act by the criminal act itself to you judge a criminal act based upon the mind of the killer. Does that sound fair to anybody? Does what George Zimmerman did sound fair to anybody? Anybody know the name Michael Dunn? Michael Dunn's going to face a murder trial on 3 counts of attempted murder in February in Jacksonville, Florida, maybe January. We need your help. There's 2 near and dear people over there that I'm going to introduce you to here in about 2 more minutes. And a guy from South Alabama speaking at Howard University, a white guy speaking from South Alabama at Howard University, to me means something either very right went down or something very wrong went down. Something very wrong went down. This is a moment bigger than all of us. But, as you'll see from Ron Davis and Lucia McBath, something very right can go down too. It's called the butterfly effect. The butterfly effect is, gosh, older than anybody in this room. It's a premise that the wings of a butterfly can cause a tsunami across the world. It's what the Dream Defenders did in Tallahassee. It's what this nation did with the election of Barack Hussein Obama. And it's what we need to do to 20-something states that have enacted Stand Your Ground based upon an 80-year-old gun-toting lady from Florida. So I'm going to let the family tell you about Jordan Davis and their son, because they tell it better than anybody in the world can tell you. But I'm going to end with a quote from Martin Luther King Jr. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. What's the rest? Only light can do that. You be that light. Thank you. It's my pleasure to present. Please stand up for them. Ron Davis and Lucia McBath, my dear friends.
And the family wants to make sure that their son is honored. When they won't give up, when they seek justice. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the family of Jordan Davis, Lucia McBath, and Ron Davis.
Good evening.
Good evening.
We are indeed humbled as well excited to be with you this evening. I've spent many hours and days on this campus as a young person. I remember running around Howard University. My mother taught nursing at Howard University Hospital. My uncle, George Winfield, was actually the chairperson of the music Department of Music here at Howard. So I've spent many, many hours and days running around campus. So I do have very fond memories of being here, but I never thought in a million years I would be able to speak to you tonight about what is so urgently on my heart. Our son, Jordan Davis, 17-year-old, was murdered in Jacksonville, Florida this past November. He was murdered because Michael Dunn, who was sitting in the car next to them at a gas station, had perceived that their music was thug music, too loud, and he didn't care for it. And because the boys did not do what he wanted them to do, would turn their music down or turn it off, he proceeded to pull his gun out of his glove compartment in his car and shoot 10 rounds into the car. 3 of those rounds were a direct hit to our son Jordan, and Jordan was murdered there on the spot. We have decided as a family that what has happened to Jordan will continue to happen if we do not change the laws by which individuals are able to value our children. What has happened to Jordan and has happened to Trayvon has happened to Sandy Hook, Aurora, Virginia Tech, will continue unless we stand up and use the voice that we have been given to call a stop to this madness. The gun culture in our country is rampantly just causing havoc everywhere. We ourselves never thought in a million years that our son Jordan would ever be affected by anything like this. We even had discussions with him over Trayvon. Because of the stand that we have taken, we have decided that for us, this will not be a black or white issue. For us, this is an issue about change. Change that has to start with the grassroots movement. Change that has to start with you. We cannot fight this battle alone. Jordan's father and I are but 2 people fighting an uphill battle to change the stand your ground laws. You are young. You're intelligent. You have ideas and creativity. You have the world before you. Seize the country with the gun culture. Do not let this continue. We need your help. We need you to stand up and use your voices. We need you to use your vote. We need you to rally. We need you to speak up and speak out at every opportunity against the injustice of the Stand Your Ground legislation. We fight for our son. We fight for Trayvon. Who will you fight for?
While you're standing up, I'd like to give a big hand to the Dream Defenders. Please give them a big hand. Dream Defenders. On your last day in Tallahassee, I called Sierra and we got to talk, and I was in your corner, and every time I have the mic, I always give everything to the Dream Defenders because you're so young. And I tell you what, when I was your age, I was busy partying and doing all these other things. I wasn't political, and I just really thank you guys from the bottom of my heart what you're doing for Stand Your Ground. Keep it up. Keep up, Stand Your Ground. Keep knocking the doors down. Keep knocking it down. That's right. Keep knocking the doors down. Sierra, thank you. Yes. Uh, Jordan Davis was precious, just like your brothers and sisters, just like you are to your parents. He was precious to us. And when you spend so much time with your child and guiding him and letting him know how the real world really is, you take pride in what you've done. As the young lady said earlier today, I grew up in the 60s. I was born in the 50s, grew up in the 60s to Malcolm X and Bobby Seale and all the boys back out in Oakland. I was growing up in that era. When they had the March on Washington, I was 10 years old, didn't know much about it, didn't think that much about it. And now I know what I missed even when I was 10 years old. One thing that I want to impart to you is this. If you're out here tonight, that means at some point you are standing your ground. So I applaud you. I'm going to applaud you. Because you're standing your ground. You're standing up for something right now. And a lot of people, you know, they see it on television and they say, well, it's great what these people are doing, but they never think to come out and join the movement, join people. You know, it's easy to pat people on the back from your couch when you're playing PlayStation, Xbox, you know, all these other kind of things that you want to do. But when people are taking things to the street and standing up for something, now what I want to make sure you do is stand up for something that's right. In other words, I know a lot of people, they're out there and they're using this time in our lives to be racial. And I caution you about that because number one, since you're all college students, you know that everyone came from. It has to do with the texture of your hair and the color of your skin. 99%, we're all the same. So stop focusing on color. Don't focus on color. Focus on the content of your heart and your character. That's what we want you to focus on. So when you go out to fight, make sure you're fighting for something that's truthful. Don't let people get you riled up and say because somebody else is white or somebody else don't look like you that you shouldn't fight with them and you shouldn't fight for them. Any cause out there, I don't care if it was 2 white boys that got shot by a black man. You fight for those 2 white boys. You understand? Because, you know, when you have violence and you have inequality and you have injustice, you don't look at just your race. You have to be able to say, I fought for everything. You know, you can't just look at it. I know today we went out to dinner. And the people at there, I'm not going to name the restaurant, said that we don't have any tables. We're full tonight. We don't have any tables. We looked around, it was about 5:15, empty tables all over the place. Classy, 5-star restaurant. Maybe we can give you some other restaurants to go to. My lawyer, John Phillips, he looked at them. T.C. Roberts over there, he looked at them. He couldn't believe. Looked around and there were tables available. Here we are in 2013. We were getting ready to leave, and this man came over and he said, you know what? I'm in security. I used to be a kind of a bigwig around here with Goldman and Sachs. He said, I know the owner of this place. Hold on. He said, I know you're Mr. Davis. I remember you from television. I know what happened to Jordan. Let me talk to somebody. For about 5 minutes, they had said that there were no tables. This man came over there, said one word to somebody. They looked around. The waiter came over while we were having a drink, and he says, oh, we have a table for you. We have a table for you. So all it takes is somebody with standing to open up doors. And what we want you to do is create standing in this world. If you create standing, you can open up many doors in this world. So carry yourself with standing. Make sure that when you go out, people respect you. That's the greatest thing that you have. Money is nothing. You know, what you have at home is nothing. The biggest thing that Martin Luther King told you about is character, the content of your heart and your character. So when you go out there and if you fight for us, Jordan, you fight for all the kids out here, all your nephews, your grandchildren. You're fighting for them because right now, you're endangered. You're endangered because of Stand Your Ground. Stand Your Ground says, if I bump into Ron and I don't like the way he looked at me, I can pull my weapon and shoot him down. And all they're going to do is ask me, Mr. Davis, what did you have in your mind? Well, I felt threatened by Ron. And when they asked Ron, Ron is laying there on the ground. He has no comment. We want you to have comment. We want you to be able to say right now while you're alive, because you are endangered. Stand your ground. It's insidious. It's going all over the United States. Over 24 states have stand your ground. And you know why? Because when somebody pulls out a gun and shoots you, they don't want to be held liable. Make them be held liable. Stand your ground. Make sure they change the law. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Stand your ground. I appreciate it. Stand your ground. Never let it go.